Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. I talk about a topic today that I hold pretty near and dear to my heart, which is that of wisdom. Kind of what wisdom is, why it's so important, and what my thoughts are on this subject. So, it's kind of interesting. I think there's a lot of definitions of what wisdom is. I've got sort of my own definition. For me, wisdom is it's not, it's different than knowledge, right? Knowledge is knowing things. It's having a lot of information. It's good to have knowledge. But to me, wisdom is really what I seek more than anything else, because I feel like knowledge is easy. You can acquire knowledge pretty quickly if you learn how to learn. I'm not going to plug my 10 steps course here because I don't feel like it right now. I don't feel like raising my arm, but you can check it out. Anyway, I feel like knowledge is cheap because it's easy. It's easy to acquire, but wisdom is difficult because wisdom is not easy to acquire. You can't just open up a book and gain wisdom. You've got to spend some time thinking. You've got to spend some time, chewing over thoughts and going kind of deeper and really looking within yourself. I think all of wisdom really comes from, it's externally motivated, but it actually comes from inside. It has to be internal. It has to be something that comes from you, not something that someone gives you. Someone might share their wisdom with you, and that might help you in your life, and you might become more wise because the things that they're telling you are opening up your mind to possibilities and making it so that you think about things that you need to think about in order to gain wisdom. But no one can really impart it directly on you like they could book knowledge, right? You could read a book, you could gain some knowledge, you could gain information from a book, but wisdom doesn't quite work that way. And in my opinion, the thing about wisdom, or what wisdom is it's the ability to connect the dots. It's to be able to see reality as it is very clearly, more clearly than other people, and then to be able to connect those dots together in order to be able to form a whole picture, to really see what is actually going on, whereas most people only see a few dots on a page and they don't have this connection. They don't see how everything fits together. And so that's really what I think wisdom is, and I think that it's something that, like I said, it's difficult to acquire, but it's something that you need to acquire in life if you're going to be successful, because you can take someone that has a large degree of wisdom and you can put them in a very disadvantaged situation where they don't have much, and you can take away their knowledge and they're going to regain it. They're going to be able to succeed because they're able to see reality, because they know some fundamental truths about reality that other people don't, because those are the things that don't change, right? Knowledge tends to change. I mean, at least our observation, when we work with knowledge, it's always incomplete knowledge, right? We always have sort of this model or filters that we view things through, and the model gets refined over time, right? Through science, we have different models. I did this video talking about models, and I talked about this idea that you've got, essentially models can be effective to use even if they're not correct all the time, because no model is correct, right? But wisdom doesn't change, right? It gets deeper. Yeah, we refine our wisdom, but wisdom is based on principles, and principles do not change. And the more that you grasp these principles in life, and the better the picture that you have of them, the more that you're able to open your eyes and to see clearly the underlying principles. Even though you can't totally grasp them, you're never going to be able to summarize the principle into language, because these principles, they don't fit into language, right? Knowledge, you can write it down, you can draw a picture, you can see it clearly. I don't want to say it's tangible, but it has a form. Whereas wisdom doesn't have a form. It's formless. It's something that you can never fully describe. You can never fully describe principles, but you can shine a light on them, right? You can sort of get an outline or a sketch, and you can view it from different angles, right? And you can sort of get an idea. It's like closing your eyes and feeling into a box, and then feeling around and feeling what's in that box. You're not going to know for sure because you can't see it, but you can get enough of a grasp of it. The more that you feel around for it, that you can sort of work out the dimensions of it and the texture of it. And that's really, in my mind, what wisdom is. And acquiring wisdom, I think, should be one of the main goals of your life, right? This is very connected to this idea of consciousness. I think there's a lot of books I've read lately. I did a book review on the New Earth. I think it was by Eckhart Tolle, and he talks about this. Essentially, he said in the book, and I mentioned in the book review, that he believes that everyone's purpose is to attain a higher level of consciousness, and that's their inner purpose. And I agree with that. I think that's directly connected to this idea of wisdom, because the more wisdom that you have, the higher level of consciousness that you have. So, I've got a long way to go. That's one thing that I've learned is as I've sort of sought out wisdom and tried to grow in this area, is that I'm never going to reach that goal. There's so much more that I don't know. There's so much more that I don't. It's not that I don't know; it's that I don't understand. But I'm going to keep on deepening that understanding. And hopefully, if you've been watching these videos, if you are a subscriber to this channel, you realize that what I'm trying to do with this channel is I'm not just, imparting my quote wisdom on you, because your wisdom might be superior in some ways, right? It's you may have figured out things that I haven't figured out yet, but maybe I can remind you of some of those things. Maybe I can get you to think about those things, and it's not just that I'm trying to project, but this is the medium in which I'm growing in wisdom, right? Because as I'm speaking things out loud, as I'm manifesting them, with my mouth and through these videos, hopefully I'm acquiring wisdom. Hopefully that it's forcing me to think about these things, to speak, right? And to say these things that are going to cause me to grow in that area, to see more of the dots, to connect more of the dots, especially as I see more and more of you emailing me with your issues and problems and your perspectives on things. It's connecting things for me. So this is almost my therapy, my growth, as well as hopefully it helps you. And I honestly think that part of the thing is, like, to grow in wisdom, I think you have to impart it. I think you have to share what you're learning and what you're experiencing and what you're seeing as you're connecting those dots, in order for you to see more dots and to connect more dots. I think if it doesn't flow out from you, then it's not really wisdom, right? And you can't grow it if you're not willing to do that. So anyway, a little bit of a sort of rambling on this topic, but I think it's an important one. I think that we should be seeking to grow in wisdom, and that we can always refine our growth. We can always grow more. We're never going to have all of the answers, but I think that's a lofty and worthy goal that we should all have, is because, like I said, I think knowledge is cheap. I think it's easy to acquire knowledge. I spent a lot of my career trying to acquire so much knowledge, and I found that it's cheap. It's not hard. A lot of you out there, you're so focused on acquiring knowledge. You want to learn these programming languages. I understand that. You want to learn these frameworks. You want to learn all these career skills. And that's cool. That's fine. But those are the things you're going to find, that those things are going to come easy in life, and that the wisdom that you gain from experience, and the wisdom that you gain from not just experience, because experience doesn't necessarily grant you wisdom either, right? A lot of people have experience and they have no wisdom, but thinking deeply and really, trying to see reality as clearly as possible, that's what's going to grant you wisdom. Seeking out people that are sharing their wisdom and their perspectives, those are the things that are going to grant you wisdom. And some of it is just going to come, that you're not going to explain it, but by being receptive to it, by making that a focus and one of the goals in your life, and sharing that with others, I think that's how you're going to grow in it. So anyway, if I could just leave you with that one piece of advice, it would be basically, don't seek so much out the knowledge. Realize that even though you don't know it now, knowledge will come fairly easy, but wisdom is the thing you should really be seeking. Like this video.